Hi, everybody. I'm Kurt Gowdy of NBC Sports. This is Harry Carey, the voice of the St. Louis Cardinals. Down on the field and in the stands, roaming around to report to you will be Tony Kubek, also of NBC. And yes, it is Bob Gibson against Denny McLain. And also Mickey Stanley, a center fielder, is going to play shortstop today for the Tigers. These are the two big stories as we open the World Series. Of course, the Cardinals have been made the favorite on their all-around balance and speed. They have stolen 4 times as many bases as the Tigers, but the Tigers have hit twice as many home runs. So it would appear to be speed, balance of the Cardinals against the power of the Tigers, but sports has a precedent sometimes of not coming out the way it was supposed to. And here for 24 years as the outstanding broadcaster of the St. Louis Cardinals has been Harry Carey. And Harry, how does it look to you?
Thank you very much, Kurt. Hello again, everybody. It looks to me as if it's going to be a great series. And in the National League, Kurt, about Bob Gibson, managers of other teams always say, you better get him in the first couple of innings, because if you don't, you never get him. In other words, he has a little trouble finding his stride in the first or second inning. If he is sharp from the beginning, he's going to be a tough guy to beat. So the scene is set, and a little tension now builds up around this beautiful ballpark. The first game of the 1968 World Series is about to start. And in any World Series, the first game is important, but perhaps never quite as important as this year. There go the Cardinals onto the field. And walking slowly to the mound, Bob Gibson, who set a new National League record for earned run average this year, 1.12. And now to bring you the play-by-play on this, the first game of the World Series, NBC's great voice of sports, Kurt Gowdy.
Thank you, Harry. Bob Gibson, who, if he wins today, would become the first National League pitcher to ever win 6 World Series games. Jack Coombs won 5, Three-Finger Brown won 5, Christy Mathewson, a 5-game winner in the World Series. The Major League record for most series victories belongs to Whitey Ford, who won 10. Gibson has won 5 World Series games in a row, 2 in 64 and 3 last year. So he's shooting for several records today. And facing him from Avon, Connecticut, Dick McCullough, who led all the Major League second basemen in homers this year with 16. He has good power for an infielder. He's averaged 15 homers in his last 5 years. McCullough, Stanley, and Kaline. McCullough wound the season up hitting .249. They're playing him a couple of strides toward right. And the first pitch of the World Series is the ball. McCullough has probably the oddest stance. He looks uncomfortable at the plate of any of the batters that you'll see in the World Series. Notice how he holds his bat. A strike, 1-1 now. Bob Gibson, former basketball player with the Harlem Globetrotters, a tremendous all-around athlete. The 2-2 pitch to McCullough. He struck him out. Gibson gets his first man. And aside from McLain and Gibson right now, here's the boy that's the talk of the series, Mickey Stanley. The best defensive center fielder in the American League, who is going to be a shortstop today. The 2-2 pitch, just a little bit low. 3-2 now.
Boy, that's a great shot right there, Kurt, isn't it?
They can see it all from there. Full count for Mickey Stanley, 1 out, nobody on. There's a line drive in a left field in front of Brock. There's the first base hit of the series. Stanley's on. And Al Kaline, who has an outstanding performer with the Tigers for 16 years. Has always had the dream of playing in a World Series and realizes his goal right now as he steps in. K-Line injured several times this year, out a month with a fractured bone in his arm. There goes the runner. The throw down, and Stanley is out. Javier hits the pass.
Just watch the play again in slow motion. McCarver got the ball away mighty fast. There's Javier. Now watch the tag. Beautifully done.
K-Line hit .368 from the middle of August until the windup of the season.
Come on, Bob.
This boy never played a day in the minor league. Born in Baltimore. The 2-2 pitch. Struck him out on a good curveball. Well, Gibson has him out of there in the top of the first. No runs, 1 hit, there were no errors, and nobody left. Middle of the first inning, the score, the Tigers nothing, the Cardinals are coming to bat. 31-game winner Denny McLean will face Lou Brock. And here's a study of McLean. His delivery, he's compact, he's powerful, he has good control. And here's another look at him. Now, Lou Brock getting a hand. Don Wirtz in on him at third. Shortstop and second baseman have to come in a couple of steps. What a World Series this fella had last year. He opened the series at Fenway Park. First batter up in the series, had a base hit and then stole second on the first pitch to the next batter. And that set the pattern for Brock and the Cardinals. He broke the all-time World Series record for stolen bases. Wound up hitting over 400 in the series.
He likes to go after the first pitch, Kurt.
Let's see what he does here with McLean. Ball 1. McLean, fastball pitcher, came up with a slider this year. Uses the changeup. Has that cap always pulled down low over his eyes. 1-1 to Lou Brock. Brock finished strong this year. He had nagging injuries early in the season. Wound up hitting .279. Led his league with 62 stolen bases. Led the league in triples. Ground ball to short. Mickey Stanley with his first chance. Throws him out. That'll help Stanley. He's got that first one out of the way.
You think that Brock deliberately tried to test him on the very first man up?
Kurt Flood. Flood, the most consistent Cardinal batter this year, wound up hitting .301. 5 homers, 60 runs batted in. Fly ball to right field. Al Kaline in the shadows in the corner. 2 down. And playing his last World Series, has finished his last regular season. He's retiring after this series. Roger Maris getting a big hand from the crowd. They had a day for Roger here on Sunday at the end of the season. He wound up hitting .255 this year with 5 homers, 45 RBI. Two down, nobody on, no score. It's the breaking pitch to right field. K-Line waiting for it. That's it. McLean breezes through the first inning, puts them down 1-2-3. And at the end of the first inning, the score, the Tigers nothing and the Cardinals nothing. This game is authorized under television rights granted by Major League Baseball solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. Norman Cash, Willie Horton, Jim Northrup up for the Tigers in the second. Curveball is over for a strike. Cash is the only Tiger starter with previous World Series experience. He was up 4 times as a pinch hitter with the White Sox in 1959. Low to him a ball. And this fella had a great last half of the season. He wound up hitting .263, 25 homers, 63 RBI. They're deep and toward right for him. Normally a pull hitter to right field. A 1-2 pitch to Cash. Struck him out on a blazing fastball. Third strikeout for Gibson. Gibson has had an outstanding strikeout record in the World Series. Coming into this game, he had struck out 57 men in 54 innings. That's the strikeout an inning, Harry. 1 out, nobody on. The power man of the Tigers. They have quite a few of them down through that lineup. Willie Horton takes the strike. Horton hit .285, 36 homers, 85 RBI. They're deep and toward left for him. Going around in the fastball, strike 2. Horton finished second. And the message from Commissioner Ecker, hoping that you enjoy the game. And we do too, and the entire series. 1 out, nobody on, no score, top of the second. Oh, look at that curveball. He's got a great curve today, Harry.
Yes, he has, and it's pretty hard to distinguish between his curveball and his slider, Kurt. That one exploded. A year ago against the Red Sox in the first game of the series, Gibson had struck out 4. Watch this ball break. Right over that outside corner. Yes, he's got a good one going.
He has now struck out 4 of the first 5 batters he's faced. Jim Northrup's up. Northrop takes the fastball. Strike 1 on him. Northrop, born in Breckenridge, Michigan, lives in Detroit. Northrop hitting .264 for the year, 21 homers, 90 RBIs. He has some big hits. Strike 2. Bob Gibson had an almost incredible record this year. He didn't win as many games as McLean, but he led the majors in shutouts with 13. Finished with the lowest earned run average in the history of the National League. A ball, 1-2. Wally Moses is coaching at first for the Tigers, and Tony Cuccinell is at third. Tigers have 2 down, nobody on. And he struck out the side, and Gibson has now struck out 5 of the first 6 men he's faced. At the end of an inning and a half, it's the Tigers nothing and the Cardinals nothing.
All eyes key on Bob Gibson, a 22-game winner who established a new record for the lowest earned run average in National League history. He strikes out 2 in the first and 3 in the second. Norm Cash, Willie Horton, and Jim Northrop all go down.
Orlando Cepeda. He has good power to all fields. He can hit the ball a long ways to right center. He should like Tiger Stadium. Nobody on, nobody out. The 2-2 pitch. He went after a wide breaking pitch, popped it up in the shallow center. There's Northrop in under it for the out. Cepeda was reaching for that one.
A good change of pace that time. He really had him fooled, Kurt. He was way out in front, as the fans could tell if they were watching.
Now Tim McCarver, batting .253 for the year, 5 homers, 48 RBI. McCarver fell off along with Cepeda in batting. And he also had trouble in last year's World Series hitting. There's a drive in the right center. That one may be in the gap. It's all the way out to the fence. McCarver is coming for 3. Here's the throw. Wide. He's in there with a triple. Gets away, but backed up by McLean. McCarver triples to right center.
Tim McCarver belts a booming triple to right center in the second inning for the first hit off the Tiger pitching staff. Denny, however, bears down and fires a third strike past Mike Shannon.
Struck him out with a fastball. So a neat recovery by McLean, who had dropped behind him 2-0 and then struck him out. And now with 2 down, the Tigers back the infield up, and Julio Javier is coming up. This first game of the 1968 series is being brought to you live and in color exclusively on NBC, where more people watch sports than on any other network. Javier from the Dominican Republic started his big league career with the Pirates. McLean pitching 3-2. Right in there for strike 3. So McLean strikes out Shannon and Javier with a runner on third and 1 out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. And at the end of 2 innings, no score. Let's go down now in the stands to Tony Kubek.
Thank you, Kurt. I'm sitting with the Commissioner of Baseball, General Eckert. General Eckert, looks like a fine World Series, a fine pitching duel.
Another great World Series, 2 great teams, great pitching contests, and I want to thank all of these hundreds of millions of fans that have supported our great game for all these years, and particularly since I've been commissioner.
Commissioner, thank you so much. Now let's get back to live action.
Bill Freehan took the first pitch for a ball. Leading off here in the third. Going after one of Gibson's breaking pitches for a strike, 1-1. Freehan hitting .263 at 25 homers, 84 runs batted in. Fastball for a strike. Gibson has struck out 5 of the first 6 men. If he continues this pace, he's going to be the strikeout champ of all time in the series. 3-2. Pitch. Strike 3. Freehan may not have committed himself, but I believe that pitch was on the outside corner anyway. Gibson sharp curve. He has now struck out 6 of the first 7. The all-time record for most strikeouts in a World Series game, 15, held by Sandy Koufax for the Dodgers in 1963. Gibson has 6, and we're only in the 3rd inning. 1 out, nobody on. Work single into center field. That's the 2nd hit for the Tigers, and brings up Denny McLean, who's a good bunter, by the way. He led the American League in sacrifice bunts. He had 16 of them during the year. No runs, 2 hits for the Tigers. No runs, 1 hit for the Cardinals. 1 away, word on first. Strike to McLean. And McLean trying to bunt again, fouls it back. He's out. Strikeout for the pitcher and a put out for the catcher. Trying to bunt on the 3rd strike. Fouls it back. 7 strikeouts for Bob Gibson. Top of the order, Dick McAuliffe, who struck out in the 1st inning.
Kurt, the most strikeouts in one game this year for Gibson was 15, and strangely enough, he lost that game.
2 down for the Tigers. Downward at first. Curve is over for a strike. Gibson's always been a pressure pitcher, doing his best jobs when it means the most. Today he looks more determined than ever, Harry.
I'll make a comment on that in a moment.
The ground ball hit down to Cepeda. Steps on the bag for the out, and that's it for the Tigers in the 3rd. No runs, 1 hit, there were no errors, and 1 left. At the end of 2.5 innings, it's the Tigers nothing and the Cardinals nothing. Tony Kubek.
Lou, we've got one of the top sportsmen in the country, Mr. Frank Sinatra. Frank, who are you picking in the series?
I like the Cardinals in about 5 games, Tony. I think, first of all, I think Gibson is pitching so great today. I think he's marvelous.
I don't mean this as a pun, but he's really humming. Better than you.
Oh, yeah.
Frank, thank you so much. Let's go back upstairs now to Kurt and Harry.
Dal Maxville leading off in the last of the third for the Cardinals. A ball to him. Maxville had the best average of his career this year, hitting .252. 1 homer, 24 runs batted in for him. Born in Granite City, Illinois, lives now in St. Louis. McLean is behind 2-0.
Kurt, an odd statistic for an eighth-place hitter like Dal Maxville is the fact that he also led the team in drawing bases on balls.
3-0. McLean is struggling just a little here today right now with his control. He fell behind both Shannon and Javier in the second, but then came back to get him out. Now he's behind 3-0 to Maxville. And he walked him on 4 pitches. There's the first walk of the game. Bob Gibson, a 170 batter, the pitcher. He's no out at the plate. He's a threat up there. Good base running, a good fielder in his position.
I don't know whether some of these fans are standing up to give Gibson a standing ovation or whether they're just getting up to get a look at Frank Sinatra. But at any rate, a lot of them came to their feet.
These are the plays now that Mickey Stanley won't do out of an automatic reflex action. That's shortstop. Good bunt. McLean will have to make the play to McAuliffe at first base. Sacrifice for Gibson. And he's out from McLean, the pitcher, to McAuliffe, the second baseman. In scoring position now is Dal Maxville. 1 out in the top of the order for the Cardinals. Lou Brock will be up. Remember, there's a fairly stiff breeze blowing from first toward third today. The temperature's in the 80s, and it's a muggy afternoon here. Bouncer to the mound. They may have a run-up down here. He's out. Coming over to cover is Mickey Stanley. McLean to Stanley for the out on Maxville.
Watch the play again. McLean makes the play perfectly. First running towards the man, and then flipping quickly to Stanley. No doubt about his being out, was there?
McLean knew what he was doing as soon as that ball started back to him, Harry.
Listen to the crowd. You know what they expect.
All right, now this is a story now. Can McLean hold Brock? How about Freehan's arm against Brock? McLean is quick with his feet down. He's pretty good at holding runners. And the crowd yelling, go, go, go. Ball 1.
I thought he'd go on the first pitch, Kurt. He usually does, but he wants to make sure that he can read McLean.
He stole 25 bases his last 28 games of the season. 2 down, Brock at first. There he goes. The throw. He's in there easily. He'll be up and on his way to third. Lou Brock steals second. They'll probably charge Freehan with an error on the throw into center field.
Lightning Lou steals his first base of this series and then continues to third when Bill Freehan's throw goes into center field for an error.
Two down, Brock at third. The 3-2 pitch to Kurt Flood. Goes after a high fastball and pops it up. Don Wirth gives way to Mickey Stanley and back of the mound for the out. And once again, McLean pitches out of trouble with a man in scoring position. No runs, no hits. There was 1 error, 1 left at the end of 3. No score. And Tony Kubek.
Thank you, Kurt. I'm with Warren Giles, president of the National League. Warren, looks like another fine series.
Yes, it does, Tony. Really, really a great pitching duel out there.
Mr. Giles, thank you so much. Let's get back to Bob Gibson, the Cardinals.
Great series.
Live action. Thank you, sir.
One-two pitch. Is hit to right field. Maris over toward the line. Right in the corner for it. There's one away. Stanley flies to Roger Maris.
Just to have an idea, Kurt, where is that ball at Tiger Stadium?
Wouldn't have made it, Harry. It's 325 down the right field line in Tiger Stadium. I'd say that ball was hit about 315 feet. Al Kaline struck out his first time. A ball, the youngest man to ever win a batting title in American League history. He was a couple of months younger than Ty Cobb was when Cobb won his first batting title at the age of 20. Breaking pitch in, 1-1 to Kaline. Kaline has been the Golden Glove winner in each of the last 7 seasons as top outfielder in the game, one of the tops. Here's the 2-2 pitch to him. Foul right back. And that hit one of our monitors.
If I'd have had my nets, we'd have had a baseball up here.
Yeah.
You can tell how hot it is down on that field, Kurt.
Here's a 3-2 pitch. Strike 3 in the outside. 8 strikeouts for Bob Gibson. He has hit those corners today. Notice how deep Kurt Flood is out there in right center. Fly ball out to Flood, has to come on, waiting, that's it. And the Tigers are down 1-2-3 in the fourth. At the end of 3.5, it is still the Tigers nothing and the Cardinals nothing. You know, NBC is truly the World Series network. Not only will we continue to bring the World Series, but January 12th and 6 to 9, NBC will bring you the World Series of Pro Football, the Super Bowl, and in March, the NCAA Basketball Championship, the World Series of College Basketball. And, of course, again next year, the World Series of Baseball, all on NBC. Roger Maris takes ball 1. They've already announced the paid attendance, 54,692. McLean is behind him 2-0. That's the 5th batter now. McLean's been behind on in the game, 2-0. 3-0. They have a banner they have hung on the wall out there in left center, and they're asking the fans to remove it. 3-0 pitch. He walks him on 4 pitches. The second walk given up by McLean. Has been a good control pitcher all year, and he is not as sharp with his control today, I know, as he'd like to be. He averaged only 1.7 walks per 9 innings this year. In other words, he walked just a little bit under 2 men a game. He's walked 2 here and been in danger of walking several others. Orlando Cepeda flying out his first time. Harris at first, nobody out. 5 balls in a row now delivered by McLean. A 1-0 pitch to Cepeda. 2-0. 6 balls in a row delivered by McLean. And now Mayo Smith is coming out, the manager of the Tigers. He wants to talk to McLean. This is the first World Series as a player, a coach, or a manager for Mayo Smith. Now, what do you think he said to him, Harry?
Go get him, kid.
Yeah. Fouls a high fastball back, and it's 2-1. 3-2 count to Orlando Cepeda, who pops it up. Waiting for it is Norm Cash, the Tiger first baseman in foul territory, reaching home as if Maris were going to be off the bag. 1 out. But once again, McLean shows you what a competitor he is, getting behind a batter and then recovering. He's had to do that now 4 or 5 times. It's been a tougher struggle for him today than Bob Gibson so far. Tim McCarver tripled to right center his first time. And he was left on third in the second inning when McLean struck out Shannon and Javier. A ball. 2-0 again. 3-0. Nothing to Tim McCarver. And he walks him on 4 pitches. He walked Maris on 4 pitches. The third walk given up by McLean, who's having an off day on his control. Runners on first and second, 1 out. Two and 2 pitch coming up to Mike Shannon. There's a base hit to left field. Harris is rounding third. Willie Horton fumbles the ball. Coming over to third is McCarver. And into second goes Shannon. And the Cardinals take the lead. Shannon singles to left, scoring Maris. When Horton couldn't come up with the ball, McCarver raced to third, and on the throw to third, Shannon went into second. An error's been charged on Willie Horton. That's the second Tiger error of the game. Runners on second and third, 1 out, and the Cardinals ahead 1-0. Javier struck out his first time. And he hits it in the right field. This will score maybe 2. Kaline fires to the plate. Not in time, and the Cardinals lead 3-0 on Javier's single to right. And so the control troubles that McLean was getting into behind on the batters. The Cardinals finally caught up with him here in the fourth and have scored 3 runs.
Shannon faces McLean with Maris and McCarver on and 1 down. The Tigers look a little tense as Willie Horton lets the ball get by him for an error. Roger Maris scores the first Cardinal run of the series, and McCarver goes to third. Shannon the second on the error. Javier at bat. He singles sharply to right to send McCarver and Shannon racing around for a 3-run inning.
How many times, Kurt, have you heard Pee Wee Reese or Sandy Koufax talk about how expensive bases on balls are?
Both the men that walked here have come in to score. Mayo Smith, the Tiger manager now. 1 out, a runner on first, 3 runs in. Ball 1 to Del Maxwell. There's Shane Dienst, the Cardinal manager. His club has grabbed the lead in the opening game. The 1-0 pitch, runner going. Throw down, not in time. A stolen base for Javier. That's the second stolen base for the Cardinals, and Javier comes up limping. Lou Brock, after sliding into third, complained of evidently a shoulder or an arm condition. Well, the series was billed as the Cardinals' speed and the Tigers' power. There's a high fly ball out to Willie Horton in left field. Javier plays it halfway and goes back to second. 2 down, and Bob Gibson will be up. The real oddity, Harry, to me, is this is the exact batting order that the Cardinals had for the opening game of the World Series last year. Most clubs change somewhat and make trades, retire, rookies come in, but the Cardinals have the same batting order they opened in Boston in the series last year. Strike 3 as Gibson goes down. Third strikeout for McLean, but a 3-run inning for the Cardinals on 2 hits, 1 error, and 1 left. At the end of 4, the Cardinals lead 3-0. All right, in the 5th inning, Bob Gibson will face Willie Horton, Jim Northrup, and Bill Freehan. Horton struck out, took a called 3rd strike his first time. It's a high pop-up. Backpedaling for it is Javier, the second baseman. 1 away. The Tigers were the best comeback team in baseball this year. I think over 40 times they pulled games out in the 8th or 9th innings when they were behind. 3-2 pitch. Line drive to the shortstop. Darrell Maxwell timing his jump to go up for it. 2 down.
Let's watch that play again, Kurt. Maxwell will time it perfectly. And that's how it's done.
That one nearly ripped his glove off. That's the hardest hit ball for the Tigers so far. Ball 1 to Bill Freehan, who struck out his first time. Nelson Briles against Mickey Lolich tomorrow, a right-hander and a left-hander. There's the first walk given up by Gibson. Freehan's on first. Hitting number 8 in the Tiger order, Don Wirtz coming up. He singled to center his first time. And with 2 away and Freehan on first, Cepeda plays off the bag, even though a right-hander's up there. Denny McClain's due up next. Blew the fastball by him, strike 2. Eddie Matthews just picked up a bat in the Tiger dugout. They might pinch hit for McClain if they get to him. The 2-strike pitch is strike 3. They won't get to him this inning. 9 strikeouts for Bob Gibson. He may be challenging the all-time series record of 15 strikeouts. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left. And at the end of 4 1/2 innings, it's the Cardinals 3 and the Tigers nothing. Get down to our roving shortstop, Tony Kubek.
Thank you, Kurt. Down here we've got Stan Musial. Stan, you put this Cardinal ball club together, helped you. They look good. You must be proud of them.
Oh, we certainly are, Tony. And of course, we have a great all-around club. Just a great club, sure do.
I haven't seen Gibson blow too many 3-run leads. You think he'll hold them?
He's tough. He's a great competitor and a good pitcher.
Stan Musial, thank you so much. Let's go back upstairs.
Now for the last half of the game, to call the play-by-play, the voice of the Cardinals, Harry Carey.
Thank you very much, Kurt. Brock fouls off the first pitch. Brock, who hit .279 during the course of the season, loves to hit the ball to the opposite field. One of the most exciting ball players in the game. Wirt throwing in time. Don Wirt throws out Lou Brock. That'll bring up Curt Flood. He, too, is hitless. Cardinals put together 2 timely hits after 2 costly bases on balls for their 3 runs in the 4th. Curt Flood, strangely enough, the only 300 hitter on either team. Sky high. McAuliffe backing up. He has it. So that's 2 away as Flood pops out to McAuliffe. Here's Roger Maris. He started it all in the 4th inning with a base on ball. Playing his final World Series, ending a great career. Right at the first. Oh, right through it. The ball didn't come up, and Maris is safe. Let's see how they ruled it. The ball was sharply hit. Cash was expecting it to take a bounce about belt high. Instead, it hugged the ground right through his legs, and it'll be an error. That's the 3rd Tiger error. Cepeda waiting. Long drive, deep left field. Horton back. Oh, one-handed left-handed stab, beautiful play. Willie Horton made a fine stab, and that ends the inning. No runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 left. At the end of 5, St. Louis 3, Detroit nothing. With Kurt Gowdy and Tony Kubek, this is Harry Carey at Bush Memorial Stadium. Tommy Matchik, an infielder, is going to be the pinch hitter for Denny McLean. Matchik, 24 years old, started in the Cardinal organization, by the way. Left-handed hitter. Born in Hazleton, Pennsylvania, now lives in Freeland. Tommy Matchik, M-A-T-C-H-I-C-K. A little tap. Gibson's going to cover first. From Cepeda to Gibson. 1 away.
That Gibson really moves off that mound, Harry.
He is a cat. There is no question about it. Well, he was an outstanding basketball player at Creighton University, and then played with the Harlem Globetrotters. And you know how nimble and agile and quick they are. He can do everything, Gibson. Above all, he can throw that ball mighty hard and win. McAuliffe. Base hit. Sharply hit, too, into right field. McAuliffe pulls a single to right. That's a 3rd hit off Gibson. Never more than 1 in any inning. The Tigers haven't had anybody beyond first base. Gibson has walked 1, allowed 3 hits. So 4 men have reached base, but nobody has gone into what is now virgin territory at 2nd and 3rd for the Tigers. This is Mickey Stanley. Singled and flied out. Good fastball at the knees. Tigers trying to put a big inning together, and this is something they do frequently. Mickey Stanley hit .259 during the season. Snyder caught the corner. He stopped his swing, but it was in there.
Tiger game this year has been the home run ball. When they don't get the home runs in a game, they've had their problems. Gibson gave up only 11 home runs all year. He's not a fella known to give up homers.
Stanley swings and strikes out. That's number 10 for Gibson. 15 in World Series game is the record. Here's Al Kaline. He spanned twice. The move of Stanley to shortstop hasn't hurt the Tiger defense at all so far today. Base hit, maybe extra bases. A runner on second on his way to 3rd. Kaline going into second base with a double. And the Tigers have something going. Runners at 2nd and 3rd. And further justification of manager Mayo Smith's daring move. So far, Stanley hasn't hurt them defensively at short, and Kaline, by being in the lineup, has given them their first scoring opportunity with a double that puts runners at 2nd and 3rd. But there are 2 out, and Norm Cash, McCarver, and Gibson. Both of them are real good needlers of each other, Kurt. And they prod each other into better performances.
Gibson's actually the needler of the ball club, isn't he, in the clubhouse?
Yes, he's the champ. Norm Cash struck out and flied out. He had a good cut, but he didn't connect. So the Tigers now have had men to 2nd and 3rd. And now they have a chance to bring them across the plate. But there are 2 out. Little low. That was a good moving fastball. Gibson throws 2 kinds of fastballs. One that kind of jumps a little bit, and another one that sinks. There's a breaking ball, and it is a dandy. He really snapped one off that time. It's hot and muggy down on that field. Cash in the hole. Struck him out. The 11th strikeout. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Cardinals 3, Detroit nothing.
McAuliffe batting for Detroit with 1 out. Dick grounds a single to right. Gibson strikes out Stanley and now faces the veteran Al Kaline. Al lines a double down the left field line. McAuliffe holds at third. Norm Cash is up, but the incomparable Bob Gibson stops the Tigers with another strikeout to retire the side. Bob is now threatening the all-time World Series strikeout record of 15 for 1 game.
Here again, Tony Kubek.
Thank you, Harry. We're talking down here to one of the grand old men in baseball, Casey Stengel. Casey, nice to see you at the ballpark. Nice to see you looking so healthy.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you. Here, Kubek. The last World Series is it was 1916. You was playing for me, and you got hit in the Adam's apple.
You had to bring that up, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, it's all right. It hurt us that day.
What about this World Series, Casey? Do you have a favorite? Gibson looks tough, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah. He is a terrific pitcher because he is 4, 5, 6 years. He's pitched 10 years, and he goes 27 innings every time he's been in the World Series. And I would have to say that you have to be a very good hitter to hit at him, and he doesn't walk too many men. He's a good fielder. He's a good hitter, and he's very alert. He's done a terrific job for the club, and of course, it's a good club. And that's a good club, too, you have over there. You have a couple of boys that I know fairly well, you know, over there. Sane used to work for me, too, and I think your pitcher's been a little wild up to here today.
Casey, what about Lou Brock? You were a pretty good base stealer in your day. He can really motor, can he?
You said it. He's got that go, 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 go. And he goes, and he makes the boys a little nervous, and the catcher's anxious. Sometimes they throw a little faster than what you would expect anybody to do. He is really fast and does the job. He does a terrific job.
What do you think about the outcome of the series? Do you think Gibson winning this game, if he should, do you think it's the end of the series?
Well, I think this fella is good to last 3 games. He finishes so many games. Both of them do that. But the best thing that I can see about what he's going to do, really and truly, is that the club behind him there, that after this, I would say your center fielder is going to maybe make the left fielder do a great job.
Casey Stengel, thank you so much. Let's go back upstairs.
All right, Tony. He is something, that grand old man.
Speaking of being alert, he's still alert, isn't he?
I should say. Here's Tim McCarver, bottom of the 6th, Cardinals leading 3-0. The new pitcher is Pat Dobson. Dobson, who is 6'3", a right-hander, comes from, his home is in Durham, North Carolina. He was born in Depew, New York. During the season, he won 5, he lost 8, earned run average 2.66. He's a sinker baller. McCarver pops it up. McAuliffe should get that one easily. He does. 1 gone. Mike Shannon. Bouncing ball. Watch Stanley. Got him. 2 men are out. 3 balls and a strike. The outfield plays Javier straight away. Dobson pitches high, ball 4. So Javier is on with 2 out. Now the Cardinals have been running. I don't know whether they've been running on the pitchers or running on freehand. There's no way it wouldn't be fair for even to try to conjecture from up here. But they haven't hesitated to run. They have stolen 2 bases. Maxwell is a good hit and run man, by the way. There he goes. Out! They got him. Javier doesn't believe it. Oh, there's no runs in the 6th for the Cardinals. Let's see if we can watch that play again.
Javier got a good jump at freehand this time, gets rid of the ball quickly. Mickey Stanley handled it. Here it is from a different angle. This was a close play.
Let's see. Let's all umpire this play. I guess that's long enough look. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. The end of 6, St. Louis 3, Detroit nothing. You know, if NBC could have supplied the umpires one of these sets and given them time to look at that slow motion, they might have given a different decision that time. But I tell you, I bet you those umpires are right 1,000 times out of 1,001. From the looks of the slow motion, they may have missed that one. Willie Horton leading off. Ooh, what a cut. You can see why he hit 36 home runs, but he fouled it off. Like so many of the Tigers, this is his first World Series.
Look at his neck and shoulders, Harry. That's where his power is.
You know who he reminds me of, especially when looking down from the booth? Roy Campanella.
Right, they're both built a lot alike.
Has the same stance that Campy used to have.
He used to be a catcher in high school, this boy, in the Detroit High School.
Maxfield grabs a hot line drive. That's 2 line drives.
This wasn't as difficult as the previous one. But he was there for it. He still had to have quick reflexes to move in the hole.
He's a very underrated ball player, Kurt. He does a tremendous job around shortstop. Here's Jim Northrup. 1 ball, no strike. So the Tigers have 4 hits, actually more than the Cardinals. Have hit several balls on the nose, line drives at the shortstop that have been caught. So they haven't exactly been handcuffed, although they're losing 3-0. Northrup is fanned and hit a hot line drive to Maxfield. Curve is a beauty. 2 strikes and a ball. The crowd buzzing now as Gibson gets closer and closer to another World Series victory. Can't beat fun at the old ballpark. And as you notice, everybody here in shirt sleeves today. Jim Northrup lives in Detroit, Michigan. He struck him out swinging. Strikeout number 12. And we may see, it was just 5 years ago today, October the 2nd, 1963, that Sandy Koufax fanned 15 at Yankee Stadium for the record. And Alan Roth, you're amazing.
Gibson has struck out now at least 1 man in every inning. He's been consistent with those strikeouts. His big inning was the second when he struck out the side.
Bill Freehan up there, he is fanned and walked. I referred to our statistician, Alan Roth, who is a fountain of fingertip information. With 2-0, he went to a breaking ball and split the plate with it.
He's really been getting that curve over today, Harry.
2 balls and a strike. 2 out. Fouled out of play. Bob Gibson is author of a book, Ghetto to Glory. He's from Omaha, Nebraska, you know. And the town is really proud of him. As well they might be. Whoa, the crowd groans on that one. All 3. Naturally, as Gibson's getting close to a strikeout record. Anything anywhere near the plate, the St. Louis fans want to have called a strike. 3-2 pitch. Struck him out. Strikeout number 13, nothing across for Detroit in the 7th. We go into the bottom of the 7th inning. It's St. Louis 3, Detroit nothing. Where are you now, Tony Kubek?
Harry Carey, I'm right down here with the wife and daughter, Mrs. Bob Gibson and Renee Gibson. Mrs. Gibson, you must be proud of Bob once again.
I sure am, as usual.
Well, that's good. We'd like to talk to you longer. The game's about to begin. Renee, you proud of your daddy?
Yes, I am.
Renee, Mrs. Gibson, thank you. Let's go back upstairs for some baseball action.
Dow Maxfield leading it off for the Cardinals, bottom of the 7th inning. 3-0, St. Louis. Maxfield pops it up. Norm Cash puts it away. Let's see. Listen to the reaction from the crowd as Bob Gibson comes up. Gibson sacrificed in the 3rd, struck out in the 4th. He's a good hitter. Pop fly on the infield. That's for Cash. 2 out. Here's Lou Brock coming out. Gibson is shooting for a record share with Lefty Gomez and Red Ruffing of 6 consecutive wins in series competition. If he wins this one, he'll move in to that record book with Gomez and Ruffing. If he pitches a complete game, he sets a new record for most consecutive complete games. For St. Louis fans, the action starts when Brock gets on first base. He's where the action is, in other words. 3-2 pitch. Long drive, way back. Might be out of here. Could be. Home run! Lou Brock hit one a mile high into the right center field stands, and the Cardinals lead 4-0, and there are the Albertos down there, naturally very happy. Remember the home run he hit at Fenway Park last fall? This is about the same type.
That ball was hit well over 400 feet, Harry.
They say the best thing to do with Brock is to keep him off the bases. I'm sure this isn't what they had in mind. Lou's home run makes it 4-0 St. Louis.
That's the third home run he's hit in series play. So Brock has had a home run, the only one of the day. He has stolen a base. And the Cardinals now lead 4-0. Here's Flood hitless. Smash, base hit. Flood singles to center. The Cardinals now have 5 hits. Roger Maris getting a big hand. You know, this is one of the great stories of sports. How a fella so unpopular with fans while a member of the Yankees changes uniform and becomes the toast of the town in St. Louis. That's what's happened to Roger Maris. They love him here. Right. Roger Maris. He wants to go out in a blaze of glory. He ends the season, his career this year. Roger's 34 years old. He could play a few more seasons. But he's anxious to move to his new home at Gainesville, Florida. There goes Flood. Hey, for stolen base. Just see the good break he got off first base, and he beats the throw easily. There's that other angle now. That Flood with his first step was going at full speed. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Maris. Cepeda next. Pop set up. He fooled him on a slider. McAuliffe under the ball. That's all for the Cardinals in the 7th. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, 1 left. At the end of 7 full innings, St. Louis 4, Detroit nothing. With Kurt Gowdy and Tony Kubek, Harry Carey at Busch Memorial Stadium. We're in the top of the 8th inning. A pinch hitter up there, Eddie Matthews, 37-year-old veteran, appearing in his 3rd World Series, his 1st as an American leaguer. On the disabled list much of this year, the count on him, 2 strikes and the ball. He struck him out swinging. That is number 14. Eddie Matthews batting for Don Wirt. Went down swinging.
Harry, here's a man who was almost incredible this year as a pinch hitter, Gates Brown. When you read that average off of the pinch hitter.
462 as a pinch hitter with 18 hits, 9 of them for extra bases. Gates Brown, a left-handed batter, pinch hitting here. Cardinals leading 4-0. The next strikeout, if he gets one for Gibson, will tie the World Series record for strikeouts in a game. Swings, pop fly, short left. Brock will get it. 2 gone. And here's Dick McCullough. You know, Kurt, in order for Gibson to either tie or break that World Series strikeout mark, he will really have to earn it because the heart of the batting order still will come up. We have McAuliffe now with 2 out in the 8th. Stanley, Kaline, and Cash are sure to bat in the 9th. I remember when Carl Erskine fanned 14 in the World Series against the Yankees while he was a member of the Brooklyn Dodgers. That held up as the record until Sandy Koufax broke it. Foul back.
You've watched this man so many times, but one word I think really describes him. A machine. He is really a machine on that mound. He's as tough right now as he was in the first or second inning.
He's the most intense competitor I ever saw. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bob Gibson. Line foul, strike 2. Don McMahon is warming up. Gates Brown batted for Pat Dobson, flied out to Brock. Eddie Matthews started the inning as a pinch hitter for Wirt, struck out. And now McAuliffe with a count of 2 strikes and a ball. Watch this pitch. It could be a historic one. Fly ball, left field. That's all. 1, 2, 3, nothing across as McAuliffe flied to Brock. At the end of 7.5 innings, it remains the Cardinals 4, Detroit nothing. And now our man around the ballpark, Tony Kubek.
Thank you, Harry. Down here by the Tigers dugout with Mr. Joe Cronin, president of the American League. Joe, it looks like another fine series.
Well, between Gibson's great pitching and the base on balls, why, the dear old Cardinals are ahead, Tony. But still a long series. We get them tomorrow. If we don't get a few runs before it's over, it's not over yet.
Joe, where'd you get that nice-looking NBC cap from? Is it helping you out?
Through the courtesy of NBC, many millions of fans are watching this game.
Joe, you've seen, of course, this Tiger Ball Club many times during the course of the year. They've been the type of ball club, haven't they, that bounces back?
Oh, yes. They got a good sound ball club, Tony, but Gibson's great today. He's real fast, got good breaking stuff. And you have to give Gibson all the credit in the world.
What about your other impressions? Aside from Gibson, what about the rest of this Cardinal ball club? Brock, Flood, the whole bunch.
Well, Brock's a great ball player, and 2-line drives at Maxwell might have turned the game around too, Tony, as you know. Those balls were well hit that Maxwell caught at shortstop. They were the 2 fielding plays of the game.
Joe Cronin, thank you so much. Now let's go back upstairs to Kurt and Harry.
Harry, Joe Cronin talked about Bob Gibson's breaking pitch. I think that's been the key to Gibson today. We all know what a fastball has got, but he really has had a curveball and has been getting it over. How well would you say he's pitched there with his curve compared to regular season games?
His last start, he had a great curveball. He said the best curveball he had all year, and apparently it has stuck with him for the first game of the World Series. You know, he's a very proud man, this Gibson, Kurt, and if it was to be a contest between the 2 greatest pitchers in the game, and that's what it was billed and is, Gibson was going to win because he just thinks he's the greatest. And certainly he has lived up to that. Cepeda, strike called. Don McMahon, 38-year-old veteran, years of experience in the National League with Milwaukee, Houston, then in the American League with Cleveland, the Red Sox, White Sox, and now with the Detroit Tigers, for whom he did some fine work during the season. He won 5, lost 2. Great earned run average. Popped up. Bill Freehan has it. Dick Trzaskowski is now playing third base as a result of work having been pitch hit for.
One defensive feature the fans might watch for in this series, Norm Cash and Bill Freehan going for foul balls. They're both outstanding handling fouls.
Here's McCarver. He tripled for the first Cardinal hit in the second. Nothing happened as a result. McLean came right back to fan the next 2 men. He walked in the 4th and scored. Popped up in the 6th. McCarver the batter. Bouncing ball. Cash. Pitcher McMahon will cover. He's out. Ground ball. That's through there. Base hit. So Shannon has become the first man today to get 2 hits. Here's Javier. He was out on strikes in the second, singled in 2 runs in the 4th, smashing one into right field to score McCarver and Shannon, then walked and was out stealing in the 6th. Gibson is shooting at a couple of records as he goes into the 9th inning. I wonder if he's aware of it down there in the dugout. Now, Tony, you've done such a great job all day long. Let's see you get in the dugout. Tell him. Here's a pitch. High fly ball into center field. It'll be caught. Northrup squeezes it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. At the end of 8, St. Louis 4, Detroit nothing. Now a line drive to Tony Kubek.
Thank you, Harry Carey. We're sitting with the president and owner of the Detroit Tigers, Mr. John Fetzer. Mr. Fetzer, can the Tigers bounce back?
Well, we've been coming from behind all year, and we're just hoping that we might show a little of that spark right here this afternoon. If we can't, we're going to forget it and start all over tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Fetzer. Let's get back to live action.
All right. Mickey Stanley on the first pitch was trying to stop his swing, and bounces one fouled on the first baseline. 1 strike and no balls. Gibson can tie the record for consecutive wins in a World Series. He can set a new World Series record for 6 complete games in a row. He can tie or break the strikeout record for a World Series game in this 9th inning. Her ball is low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Stanley's had 1 of the 4 hits. A first inning single. He has had 1 of the 14 strikeouts in the 6th. You notice how Gibson really comes off that back foot. He really lets everything go. Two balls and a strike. Mickey Stanley fouls back. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Let's watch this pitch. It could be a record pitch coming up.
Harry, also, Bob Gibson, if he holds on to this lead, can become the first National League pitcher to ever win 6 World Series games.
It could be a productive afternoon. He looks oblivious to it all. Here it is. Foul out of play.
The crowd here knows the strike, what he's shooting at. Every time the count gets to 2 strikes, they start to stir through the stands. They know he's 1 strikeout away from tying the record.
1 from tying and 2 from breaking it. 2-2 pitch. Foul back. Every time any kind of contact is made with a ball by the hitter, the crowd groans. Just as soon as the bat kicks the ball, the groan is audible. It can also be heard. Foul again. Lou Cusero, I think you're right. It's the transistor radios in the crowd that have informed them as they're getting the NBC radio report. 2-2 pitch. Right up this way. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So he still has a shot at that strikeout. Mickey Stanley. A lot of time on this one. Base hit! A single to center for Stanley. He hit a slider about belt high. Well, the Tigers are 4 runs behind. But this is a plucky ball club all year long. The 9th inning was the one that they turned ball games around in. K-Line is fanned twice. He also doubled to set up the only scoring chance the Tigers had. Ooh, he had a cut. Good fastball. I don't believe Gibson has changed up on a single pitch. It's all fastball, slider, and curve.
That low fastball of his has really been sinking, too. Now what, Harry? Curveball?
I think you'll go with the mustard. Let's see. 2 strikes, no ball. Stanley at first. Cepeda not holding him on. Miss outside with his fastball. Norm Cash would be next. Al Kaline, who has waited 16 years to play in a World Series game. Fouls it out of play off to the right. 2 strikes and a ball. Isn't it a funny game? With all the suspense now, just on an inconsequential thing like a strikeout. All over the world, people, I'm sure, are tensed as they are here at the ballpark for this pitch. Foul back, over our heads. He may be showing just a little sign of tiring on a hot, muggy day, Kurt. You notice that little deep breath he took, or like a sigh?
Notice he hasn't been coming as smooth as in his delivery, as in his stride as he was earlier.
2 strikes and a ball. The pitch to K-Line. Got him! Listen to the crowd. Standing ovation for Bob Gibson. He has just tied a World Series record. Here's Norm Cash now. 1 ball, no strikes. The record was held by Sandy Koufax, NBC's Game of the Week crew, by the way. Swung and missed. He wants to establish a new record now, and he needs 1 strikeout with 2 men to go.
He's been consistent. He struck out at least 1 man in every inning.
Such a dramatic scene that I find myself not wanting to say a word because your picture's telling you the whole story. Out of play. They still have a shot at him. 2 strikes and a ball.
Right now the fans are concentrating more on Gibson's strikeout than the outcome of the game here.
I think that's been true for a couple of innings. Cash is fanned twice. K-Line struck out 3 times, by the way. Listen to him as he gets ready for this pitch. Foul out of play. 2 strikes and a ball. Wasn't it Dizzy Dean in the World Series against the Tigers in '34 that yelled to his catcher to drop a pop foul so that he could strike Hank Greenberg out a 4th time? I think it was. Fouled it off. Just barely. He had a rather weak swing.
There's a lot of hard feelings in that 34 series, and Dean especially had been on Greenberg during the series. There's been a lot of dugout barbs thrown back and forth.
2 strikes and a ball. Ooh, he almost chased it. 2-2. Willie Horton will be next. He needs a strikeout for a new record. Al Kaline, great star, playing his first World Series in 16 years, was his 15th strikeout. Once again, a standing ovation. A new World Series record. Here's Willie Horton now. 2 men are gone. He is paying 16. Fastball outside. A salvo out of the stands in left center.
Gibson's going to pick up records today like a vacuum cleaner, Harry.
1 ball, no strikes. High pop foul back. He got 2 strikeouts in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, 2 in the sixth, 2 in the seventh, 1 in the eighth, 2 so far in the ninth. What a remarkable performance. One ball, 1 strike. Foul back. Strike 2. And he could end it all now with the most dramatic of flourishes. 2 strikes and a ball. Biggest crowd ever to see a baseball game here. Watching baseball World Series history being made. And so are you wherever you are. 2 strikes and a ball. Look at that concentration on his face. Almost chased it. A breaking ball. Willie Horton stopped in time. Just think, he's accounted for 16 of the putouts all by himself. He got it! Struck him out! Look at the scene on the field. McCarver, the first one. Now his infielders all over him. A new world's record of 17 strikeouts in 1 game. Tony Kubek, I know, will be talking to him. The St. Louis Cardinals have won the first game of the World Series 4-0. 4 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Redbirds. No runs, 5 hits, 3 errors for the Detroit Tigers. Bob Gibson, the winner.
And right now, let's get quickly down to Tony Kubek and his guest, Bob Gibson.
Thank you very much, Kurt. Bob Gibson in your new book, From Ghetto to Glory. Right now, probably one of your most glorious moments. World Series records all over the place. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot, boy. Just great.
What about your impressions, Bob, of the Tigers? You just pitched a fantastic ball game again. What about the Tigers?
Well, the Tigers they're quite a bit like I imagined they would be with guys that are capable of hitting home runs. I knew they would be swinging a lot, so I just had to make good pitches.
Bob, what about the pitch you used most successfully? Was it the fastball, the curveball, the slider? Which was your best pitch, or were they all good?
Well, today, fortunately, every one of my pitches were working for me. My fastball was good. I was getting it on the corner. My slider I was getting on the corner, and I think my curveball was more of a surprise to them than anything else. So I think that's where the scouting reports help. I don't think they said too much about my curveball.
Bob, you struck out 17, setting a new World Series record. It's fantastic. I mean, the fans just stood and cheered you. That must be your most thrilling moment in sports. You've had many.
Well, I guess so. I didn't know what they were cheering about, and Tim came out in front of the plate, and I just turned around and looked at the scoreboard. I had no idea.
Bob, during the course of the game, we had a chance to talk to your lovely wife, Mrs. Gibson, your daughter, Renee, and we saw your mother there up there. Your daughter, Renee, was just enthralled. She was almost in tears seeing her daddy out there perform. She's really proud of you.
That's right. She was real excited about getting out of school and coming down here. She's just going to be here for one game today, and then tonight she's going back home, and I knew that she would enjoy the game, win, lose, or draw.
Bob Gibson, congratulations once again. Thank you so much. It's a masterful performance once again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob Gibson. Now let's go back upstairs.
Again, the final score, the Cardinals 4, the Tigers nothing. In a moment, we'll continue to review the action of today's game. Once again to the field, and Tony Kubek.
Thank you, Kurt. Lou Brock, another one of the stars for the Cardinals. Last year's World Series again this. Lou, a fine ball game.
Thank you, Tony.
Let me ask you something about your injury. You went off the field. In fact, your trainer came out to talk to you. Anything serious? What specifically is it?
Well, Tony, actually, I jammed the shoulder going into second base, and of course, right then and there, one of those tight plays that flash went through the body. It just stunned you for a second, and of course, I couldn't lift the arm for a split second, and I ran to third base, and of course, I tried to lift it in, and I found I couldn't, so I need a few moments so I get the shoulder back in place.
Well, it's nothing serious, really, that will keep you out of the next World Series game.
Well, I hope not. It's hard to tell until tonight, and of course, I hope not. And when I was training, I hope that I'll be able to come back tomorrow.
Lou, let's ask your impressions of the Tigers, of course, and let's have your impressions of Denny McLain. What about McLain? How did he look to you?
Well, actually, Denny McLain today was somewhat wild, Tony, and of course, he couldn't get his pitches down. He had good stuff, but he was just wild and high, and he couldn't get it down. And of course, we decided to take, and we did, and of course, we got a couple of hits in between, and I think that's the ball game.
What about the rest of the Tigers? You talked about McLain. What about them as a team? Do they impress you in any way whatsoever?
They most certainly do. They come out there swinging at bat. Of course, when you got a guy like Gibson's pitching, is awful tough for any ball club, that is. Any day that Gibson is right, he's going to be tough to beat. And, of course, they battled Gibson all the way, and I'm sure that they'll come out again tomorrow swinging.
Lou Brock, thank you so much. We appreciate you coming on. Hope you have another successful series.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Lou Brock. Now back upstairs.
Again, the final score, the Cardinals 4, the Tigers nothing. In a moment, we'll continue to review the action of today's game. To pitch 6 consecutive complete game victories in the World Series, he's the first National League pitcher to win 6 World Series games, and of course set an all-time World Series strikeout record with his 17 strikeouts. 3 pretty tough hitters he got out of the 9th inning. K-Line, Cash, and Horton, Harry Carey.
As we indicated before, in order for him to get the record, he was really going to have to earn it, and he did. And he just wanted to prove he's the greatest pitcher alive, and he may have done that here today, Kurt, I'll tell you.
14 shutouts this year, 13 in the regular season. The fellow seems to be at his best with the biggest pressure on him.
You remember we were talking about his curveball today, and I noticed he said to Tony Kubek that his curveball was better today, and apparently the scouting reports had encouraged him to throw more curves. In his last outing during the regular season, he was impressed with the fact that his curveball had improved so much. And if he's added another great pitch to what he already had, how are you ever going to beat him?
Well, tomorrow it's going to be a right-hander, a 19-game winner, Nelson Bryles. Mickey Lolich, a 17-game winner, and watch out for Lolich. He can be a real sleeper, Harry. He finished the season very strongly, just as he did last year. He's a left-hander that may give the Cardinals a lot of trouble. Now, we'll be back with more about the 1968 World Series and a look at tomorrow's second game.
Gibson is in complete control. Opening the 9th, Gibson faces Stanley, and Mickey loops a single to center. But it's the last hit of the game for the Tigers. By now, Gibson has struck out 14 batters to bring him just 1 shy of the World Series record. The batter is Al Kaline. What a pitcher. Norm Cash is up next. and the count goes to 3-2. And this pitch makes history. A standing ovation for Bob Gibson. But Bob's not quite finished. One more out to go. And the batter is Detroit's leading home run hitter, Willie Horton. It's a record 17 strikeouts. Gibson also ties Lefty Gomez's record of 6 straight victories at World Series competitions.